Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be continuing our look at transformations. And so we're going to be applying the transformations today specifically to the rules or to the equations. So we're not going to be taking a graphical approach in this video, but we're just going to look at some examples where we're altering equations. Alright, so number one, we have f of x equals absolute value of 1/3 of x. And we want to translate that 2 units to the left. So I'm going to write my new function as g of x, just to show it's different from f of x. It could be any letter. I just chose g. And then we want to go to the left. So that means that we want to subtract, nope, add. We want to add 2 inside the parentheses. Now, we don't have to do parentheses for this one because we have the absolute value bars, so we can just write it like this, 1/3 x, and then we're going to the left, so we'll do plus 2 units to the left, and then close our absolute value bars. And there we have it. Okay, looking down at number 2, we want to take that function and translate it 6 units downward, which means we're going to subtract 6 from the end. So we can write this as g of x equals, we're going to write the equation at the beginning kind of the same, just the way it is. So x plus 9, close that. And then we're going to have minus 1, oops, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Minus 1, just the way it is, and then minus 6. And we can combine those on the end. Notice that. What is negative 1 minus 6? So we could replace that. We can do, instead of negative 1 minus 6, we can do negative 7. Let's try this again. Okay, so see what I did there? Since we already had minus 1 on the end right here, since we already had minus 1, and we're going 6 units down, we can start at negative 1 and go down 6 units. So we get negative 7 for our overall downward shift. All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3, looks like we're moving that one down as well. So for this one, we're going to have g of x equals, let's leave that front part the same. And then we already have plus 2 on the end. And then we're going to translate it down 7 units. So what is 2 minus 7? 2 minus 7 gives us negative 5. So we could just write on the end here, negative 5. Okay? So negative 2x minus 5. Because we start out with the plus 2, and then we subtract 7 to get that negative 5. All right, let's keep going here. These are going to be a little bit different. We're going to do some reflecting now. So how would we reflect an equation? So for number 4, let's write g of x. Now, guys, to do reflections, you want to put a negative sign in front of each individual term. So we're going to put a negative sign in front of the 1/2 x. And then also, we're going to change the 8 as well to a negative 8. Okay, so change both the signs there. When we reflect, we change the sign or put a negative sign in front of what we have there. Okay, so we'll have negative 1/2 x minus 8. Number 5 is going to be similar. We're also going to do a reflection here. So we'll have a negative 4. And then for this one, we can either put negative sign inside the absolute value bar, so in front of the x and in front of the 1, or we could just change the sign out front for the entire absolute value symbols there. And I'm thinking that's going to be the easiest thing to do. So let's just do minus x plus 1. So since we put the minus out front, we don't have to change any signs inside the parentheses or inside those absolute value bars. Okay? So we change the sign for the 4 and change the sign for the entire absolute value bars, and that covers it. So just remember, you can do that if you have parentheses or absolute value bars. You can just change the sign out front instead of changing the sign of everything inside. Okay, let's look at number 6 now. We're going to do some shrinks and some stretches now. So for number 6, g of x. And remember, with strengths and stretches, we're going to be multiplying whatever number they give us, whatever factor they give us. We're going to be multiplying that by the x itself, the x term. So that's not supposed to be a z, that's supposed to be an equal sign. All right, so we're going to multiply 1/5 times -5 because we already have a -5 in front of the x. So we're going to have, we could write it like this. We're going to have -5 1/5 x, right? Because we always take the factor and multiply it by the x. But now we see, oh, we have -5 times 1/5. Well, -5 times 1/5 simplifies to just a -1. So we could rewrite this as just -1x, which, even simpler, we don't even have to write the 1. So we could just simplify this to -x. Okay? All right, let's go on. Look at number 7. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. There we go. All right, stretch by a factor of 4. So again, we're going to multiply that factor of 4 by the x itself. So we're going to write g of x equals, and here we don't have anything in front of the x, so we'll just do a 4x. Take that factor right there, put it in front of the x. Okay, and then write everything the same. Plus 3 plus 2. And we're done. Right? Doing the same thing for this next one, g of x. We're going to take the 6, that factor 6, and we're going to multiply it right over here in front of the x. So we can see we're going to have 3 times 6x. Right? Take whatever that number is in front of the x, multiply it by that factor. So we're going to get 6 times 3 is 18x minus 9. Don't multiply it by the entire function, just the x. Just the x. Okay? And we're done. All right, one more. G of x equals. All right, this one might be a little bit tricky, but remember, we're just multiplying that term, that factor, by the x. Okay? So we'll have negative absolute value. What's 8 times 1/4? 1/4 times 8 will give us 2. So we'll have 2x minus 4. Okay? So again, just take that factor, multiply by the x. All right, last but not least, let's look at number 10. Number 10, we're going to do multiple transformations on that function. So let's do this, and we're going to do it kind of one at a time. So let me give myself a little bit of space here. All right, so we're going to take the original function, f of x equals the absolute value of x, and then we're going to start doing some transformations. So first of all, we want to do a reflection. So to do that, we'll just write it as g of x equals, and remember we can just put a minus sign out front, so absolute value of x. Done. All right, next we want to do a stretch by a factor of 3, so let's do that next. G of x equals, we're going to start from where we left off there. So if we want to stretch by a factor of 3, we'll put the 3 right in front of the x, 3 times the x, so we'll have negative absolute value of 3x. And then finally, we're going to translate it 5 units down. 5 units down. So our last step here is going to be g of x equals, starting from where we left off, negative 3x. And remember, for when we're translating downward or upward, we just add or subtract however much we're translating onto the end. So we're translating down 5, so we'll just do a minus 5 down here on the end. And there we go. That is the finalized function. Okay, now guys, if y'all have any questions on this or if you need any help, just let me know, leave a comment, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. But thanks guys for watching this video. I hope this helps y'all on your Algebra 2 quest, and I will see you in the next video.